Hello, Owen here from NSAI Standards Division. Welcome to NSAI and our Introduction to Standardization. This module will provide you with an understanding of what standards are, the types of standards, the benefits of standards, the standard organizations, stakeholder engagement, the types of deliverables, standards development stages, and how to get involved. Next slide. A standard is voluntary in application and they do not include contractual, legal or statutory requirements. Standards are established by all interested parties within an open process that gives all stakeholders, including consumers, the opportunity to express their views and have those views considered. A key aspect of standardization is that standards are developed according to consensus, meaning that the decisions are arrived at by the majority of those involved in its development. Standards are approved by recognized bodies such as ISO or SEN or NSAI. Standards are meant for common and repeated use. That is, they offer a repeatable or understood way of doing something. Standards can facilitate the trade of goods and services. Next slide. Standardization is a voluntary cooperation among industry, consumers, public authorities, researchers, and other interested parties for the development of technical specifications based on consensus. Next slide. Here you can see there are different types of standards. The first category is terminology standards. These are important in enhancing a common understanding of terms, definitions, and symbols or signs within a subject matter. For example, ISO 9000 provides the terms and definitions for quality management which can enhance understanding of the topic. Then there are test or analytical test method standards which are useful to standardize the way something is carried out. For example, EN ISO 10993-1, Biological Evaluation of Medical Devices, Part 1, Evaluation and Testing within a Risk Management Process. The next category is specification standards, for products or services setting out the minimum requirements that should be met to ensure the product performs safely. Example, EN 166, Personal Eye Protection Specifications. Then the final category would be your management system standards such as EN ISO 14001 Environmental Management Systems. Next slide. Here we look at the benefits of standards and why would you use them. Standards assist by eliminating technical barriers to trade. They can promote interoperability of products and they can promote the spread of new technologies. Being a member of the EU means that one European standard can be used across all the member states. That has been very beneficial in terms of trade for Ireland and also has been at the foundation of the European regulations. Standards increase the safety of products and can help protect the consumer, health and the environment. They can assist in determining whether a product is faulty and if the manufacturer is liable for damages. Next slide. There are three main international bodies that develop standards. ISO, which is the International Organization for Standardization. As founders of standardization and in the true spirit of consensus, they chose the name ISO from the Greek word isos meaning equal. They produce technical standards for services, health, energy, healthcare, food, etc. IEC is the International Electrotechnical Commission and they produce standards for electrical safety and compatibility standards. Finally, ITU is the International Telecommunication Union and they produce standards for electronic communications. Next slide. Similarly, at a European level, we have SEN, the European Committee for Standardization. They would be the equivalent to ISO at a European level and develop technical standards. Then there is SENELEC, the European Committee for Electrotechnical Standardization, being the European equivalent of IEC. It develops standards for electrical safety and compatibility. Finally, we come to ETSI, the European Telecommunications Standards Institute. That is the European equivalent of the ITU, looking at telecommunications standards for electronic communication. ETSI is involved in other standardizations activities apart from telecommunications, such as artificial intelligence and smart manufacturing, participating in standardization focus groups on these topics. Next slide. How does NSAI fit in with all these international bodies? NSAI is a member of these standards development organizations. NSAI facilitates the development of a national position on draft standards and aims to ensure national interests are represented in the standards process. Standards Committee experts meet regularly to review standards under development in their area and provide feedback with a view to meeting consensus. Next slide. NSAI brings stakeholders together and act as the bridge between industry, academia, government and citizens, and the development of standards. Next slide. At the international level, there are three main types of deliverables: a standard, a technical specification, and a technical report. This slide shows the key difference between the deliverables, which is to do with the process for developing the output and the status of the final deliverable. Technical specifications and technical reports do not require the same level of agreement, usually have a shorter development timeline and lifespan than that of a full standard. They may become standards at a later point in time. Next slide. These are the main stages of development of a standard. In the table, the green text indicates the stages where the standard can be changed, whereas the red text highlights where only editorial changes can be made. Standardization uses abbreviations throughout the development process, and committee members will become familiar with them over time. A new work item proposal can be submitted by a committee member and requires a minimum of 5 committee members to support the proposal. A working draft is developed by the experts in the group. A committee draft is then shared with the main committee experts who vote to approve or comment. At the inquiry stage, a draft is provided for public comment and technical comments are accepted. There can be more than one inquiry vote depending on the level of consensus. Only editorial comments are considered at the final draft or formal vote stage. Following the publication of the standard, a review is taken every 5 years when the standard can be confirmed, withdrawn or revised. Next slide. What are the benefits of being a committee member? Standards can be part of your organisation's research journey. You can participate in the stages of development of the standards, and you can influence the content of the standard as it develops and in turn influence the direction of your industry. NSAI can facilitate experts to get involved, giving you access to early drafts and know what standards are being developed for your sector. As a committee member, you can bring the latest developments to your organisation and become an advocate for standards. Next slide. To get involved in the development of standards as a committee member, please contact NSAI to identify the right committee according to your industry. The best place to start is by completing the Getting Involved form using the web address on this slide. This will register your interest in becoming a member of a committee as an expert. Next slide. If you are not ready to become a committee member, then we invite you to contribute your view on draft standards through the public inquiry process. Public inquiry drafts are available for anyone to search, view, read, submit comments or share. Register on the Your Standards Your Say portal to generate an account, then search your specialist area for relevant standards to read, comment and share. Next slide. We want you to understand that standards are important to your business. Standards can be purchased through our web store www.standards.ie and also managed on the standards management platform i2i, details of which are on our web store. With the i2i platform, you can manage standards within your subscription and be alerted to revisions, amendments or corrigenda on standards within your account settings. Contact info@standards.ie for more information. Next slide. Thank you for your attention. For more information on standards and for other modules on the roles and responsibilities of being a committee member, please see our website nsai.ie.